It's been a long and complicated journey to this point, but now, after a brief ceasefire, the war has resumed. Israel's airstrikes have intensified across Gaza, targeting Hamas infrastructure, killing scores of civilians, and raising tensions to a boiling point. But the question is, why has the war reignited? What led to this dramatic escalation? And what does the future hold for the hostages still trapped in Gaza? In this video, we break down the latest developments, the stakes of the conflict, and the bigger geopolitical ramifications. Stay tuned. This story is just getting started. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's gripping the world: the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. After a brief ceasefire that held for nearly 2 months, Israel has resumed its airstrikes in Gaza, leading to devastating consequences. But what exactly triggered this escalation, and why now? Let's break it down step by step. The conflict between Israel and Hamas took a brief pause back in November 2024, when a ceasefire deal brokered by the US and Qatar led to a temporary halt in hostilities. During this period, Hamas released about 36 hostages, including women and children, in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. For a moment, there was hope. The second phase of the ceasefire was supposed to bring about the release of dozens more hostages and potentially end the war. But tensions simmered beneath the surface. Israel accused Hamas of preparing new attacks, while Hamas claimed that Israel was not living up to its promises of aid and concessions. So, why did Israel decide to resume the war? The Israeli government has said that Hamas repeatedly refused to meet the conditions of the ceasefire. Prime Minister Netanyahu argued that the group continued to prepare for new attacks and rearm during the temporary peace. Israel's defense forces are now focusing on dismantling Hamas's military infrastructure, targeting key figures in the group's political and military branches. The strikes are being described as extensive, and the situation is rapidly escalating. With over 48,000 Palestinians already dead since the war began in October 2023, the human cost is staggering. The latest airstrikes have left dozens more dead and injured, including many innocent civilians. According to reports from medics in Gaza, at least 100 Palestinians, including children, have died in the recent bombings. The Gaza Ministry of Health states the number of casualties from the conflict is already approaching 50,000. The humanitarian toll is horrific. For many, it's a daily struggle to survive amidst the chaos. The medical infrastructure is overwhelmed. Families are trapped, with no way out, no food, and no access to basic services. The international community watches in horror, yet remains divided on how to address the situation. But even as the bombs fall, there's one question that remains unanswered. What will happen to the hostages still in Gaza? Over 60 hostages are still in Hamas' hands, and with the resumption of hostilities, their lives are now in even more jeopardy. Hamas has warned that any military escalation could spell disaster for the remaining hostages. The group has already accused Israel of violating the ceasefire agreement, and now, as the fighting resumes, the fate of those hostages seems uncertain. The world anxiously waits for news of their safety. In addition to the airstrikes in Gaza, Israel has launched attacks in Syria and Lebanon, further escalating tensions. Reports indicate that U.S. military assets, including aircraft carriers, are now being deployed to the region, signaling that this conflict could spread beyond Gaza's borders. So, where do we go from here? With the war reignited, the possibility of a wider regional conflict looms large. Diplomatic efforts have failed so far, and the risk of further bloodshed continues to rise. The international community is divided, and peace seems like a distant dream. What will it take for the war to end? Can the hostages still be saved? And what role will global powers like the US, Iran, and others play in the coming months? Only time will tell. As we close today's discussion, it's important to remember the human faces behind this tragedy. Innocent people, families, and children who are suffering on both sides of this conflict. The choices made today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. If you're as concerned about this crisis as we are, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others to spread awareness. The world watches. Will we finally see peace, or will the cycle of violence continue? Let us hope for a future where peace prevails. Until next time.